Illingsworth again.
When in doubt.
Yeah, you guys know. If you were listening to the last video, you'll recognize that this was the song that we ended with. We were going back to back, 4 reviews in a row. Today, first, welcome back to Secret House Against the World, Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture. It's me and Jet, per usual, as well. And today, I want to let you guys know that if you watch the video, you might as well just hit the like. That helps us. Subscribe, that also helps us, and our Patreon also helps us. We've got some illustrious people rocking with the Patreon. I won't give any names, but you guys that watch the videos all the time, like, hey, I want to let you guys know about our guy at Caltrops Press, link in the bio. Noname Book Club, link in the bio. Check out Illingsworth, link in the bio, and some of our other homies. If you want to buy this album, which I suggest you do, link in the bio. Anyways, today we're rocking with Jason Griff and Zilla Rocca, Stacking Chips, 12 songs, about 35-36 minutes. It came out last month, I want to say. I'm not exactly sure.
August, yeah.
Yeah, it's a collaborative project between Jason Griff, producer, artist Jason Griff, and rapper Zilla Rocca. Zilla Rocca is an MC artist from Philly. He is the head of $3 Pistol and has a wild variety of collaborative projects and groups. He rocks with the Call Out Culture podcast, which he's a co-host with Curly Castro and Alaska. I feel cool calling Alaska a friend of the show. He was kind enough to reach out to us after we did a review, and we had a cool conversation. I feel like that was an online dap. And so, yeah, shout out to them. They're always discussing the important things and having arguments, discussions about the important things in hip-hop. Yeah, Jason Griff is an above average, that's a quote from him, you know what I mean, no shots, above average producer from Chicago, part operator of Insubordinate Records. Like Zilla, he's collaborated with everybody dope, Alaska, Curly, Castro, Woods, Quelle, AJ Suede, Vic Spencer, Def C, people that we review on this channel all the time. So yeah, go pay attention to them more. I should say, when we get started, we were going to record this earlier, and
Yes.
I kind of said, man, I want to spend some more time with this album to try to figure it out and see what's going on, because I have non-maliciously mispronounced Zilla Rocca's name before, and he caught me in the comments and said it's not Rocca. It's Rocca. And all respect.
And then there's a whole song about it on this record.
Yeah, word.
Shots fired.
Yeah. But yeah, another thing that I like to point out about this album, for those of you using the streaming service providers or whatever, there are 2 versions of this album. There's the one on streaming and the one on Bandcamp, and I highly advise you to go hit the Bandcamp one. It also includes a version or a song called Frank Castle. And I was low-key kind of wondering what happened with that. My guess is that sample clearance. Although there are some fairly recognizable sample flips on this album as well. Maybe they just got caught with that one, or they thought that maybe it was a little bit too much there, because there's nothing controversial about it or anything that. It's not listed as a bonus, but it is a very dope song. I mean, we'll talk about it as we go through the track listing a bit, but Frank Castle's on there, so go check that out. It also is really dope with the sequencing of the album too, which works out even without it. But do that. Pay attention to that. I think that's probably the preferred version that we'd like you to hear of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I'm glad we got a couple extra. Or how do you know Zilla Rocca and Jason Griff?
Jason Griff, I guess this is my first time listening to. Zilla Rocca has fingerprints all over the Secret House pantheon. Whether that's appearances on the Curly Castro joint,
Shrapnel, Wrecking Crew, Billy Woods.
Yeah, he's all over the place. I have definitely listened to Zilla Rocca tapes before, or albums. I can't remember off the top of my head which one. Maybe Former Future Rapper. But yeah, this is my first sit down, deep listen, full length Zilla Rocca album.
I think I kind of got late. I was kind of late to the show when it came to Zilla Rocca and Curly Castro too. I've been in Japan for 10 years, so I haven't seen cats come through touring. I haven't really been in the independent community like that, outside drinking, I just haven't. So I didn't notice the rise of them until I think my man Tracy Jones out here was put me on to them. And you know, since then I did go find a podcast. I've been listening to that on and off for a few years. I'm not much of a podcast human being like that anymore, but yeah, I rock with them for a long time, I suppose. And yeah, there's a long back catalog of a lot of collaborations and a lot of people they work with that are just really dope. So they are definitely some of the cats to pay attention to and are in the kind of ecosystem of underground independent art, especially the East Coast variety that we really rock with. So
sure.
What do you think about this album off rip? Well, okay. Do you want me to start it off?
No. I mean,
okay.
Off rip, like I think is dope. I think I really appreciate the fact that it is, you know, it maintains the unique identities of the artist while being kind of reverential towards the past and the culture that it stems from. I think the features on here are all really great. I really enjoy the production. I enjoy the mood that kind of pervades this record. Yeah. Like, it's not like a super heavy listen, but there's certainly, you know, elements of paranoia and of urgency that kind of exist in the background throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And yeah, Zilla Rocca gets off on every track on here. So,
you know, my first listen of the album, the first like 2 listens of the album, I thought like, oh, this is like a you know, one of the first singles I saw, the Belly track was like an ode to Belly, right? Yeah. And I thought it was kind of interesting because it's like, okay, yeah, I know these guys have a lot of reverence for the more like less popular mainstream artists like your Jays and your DMXs. I mean, we all grew up on that, but I know that for certain listen to the podcast, they have a lot of reverence for some of the more popular acts in hip hop. And so when I was listening to it, I was like, this kind of reminds me of like an album to play in the car. It sounds like something be really dope in the car, but after a few listens, I started putting together. You know, I wasn't aware of their guy, Scorsese Shells, who passed away, who seems to kind of, he's a through line of the album. I was like, I don't know who that person is. So when I tried to check it out, I was like, oh man, like it, and coupled with the kind of reverence that they're placing him on this album, not in like an ode to him, like, oh man, our guy passed, like a mourning of him, coupled with the sound and that mixtape quality that they put together, it feels like a celebration. Yes. It feels like a really dope celebration. It's like 2 things. It's like, here's our homie that we love and really appreciate, and we made this for him to be dope, so because we know he'll love this. And it's also like, here goes a kind of mixtape fucking album. And it kind of like, you know, they use a lot of recognizable sample flips from like a beloved section of, you know, hip hop culture. There's I don't feel like calling them out or whatever, but like, you know,
they've definitely taken it into consideration with the sequencing of the album, because you've got like the whole Doom tribute, you know, Love is Doomed, and then immediately followed up with Frisbees, which uses like the same sample of the Mad Villain joint. So yeah, there's a lot of these little kind of, I mean,
there's a Cypress Hill flip that is like showing love to Belly. Yes. You know what I mean? So there's kind of like this contrast, like this really great love of hip hop culture, and they do it in a way that's really fun, kind of like the Soda Club Deluxe thing. But this is just, it's dope. And I think that Zilla on this album sounds a little bit more urgent and exuberant, and he's on some real like b-boy stance shit to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is real hip hop, hashtag, you know, the nonsense. But no, he's just dope. It feels a little bit more special to me than some of his other works. And this might be my favorite Zilla work to date. I like Zilla a lot. He's like a rapper's rapper, and it's not some safe, happy, everlasting page-long candy coat shit. It's not like some deep, introspective, let me try hard shit. Sometimes it's just like, bruh, I've been outside. Let me rap to you about like my experiences in my life, and also show you like, these are some of the things that I care about. These are some of the things that shaped me, and this is why I'm dope. Is because I come from that dope. And there's
some of the trappings that are there in a way that, I mean, like stuff I don't necessarily relate to as like a non-American, like, you know, a lot of comic books, pro wrestling, The kind of stuff you expect from like Four Elements cats.
Yeah, I imagine
you, for that matter.
Yeah, like I think that's one of the things too that really kind of rocks. Like it works for me because I'm 40 years old, and you know I was probably outside at the same time. I think that they might be just a little older than me, but we're probably outside at the time of that Four Element culture. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like for me, it's like a difference that I kind of noticed, like the difference between fans as like anti-commercial participatory subcultures organized on that grassroots level versus like the rabid consumer and promoters of like corporate IP fandoms. Like he's part of the people who were, you know, rocking shows and you know, everybody ciphering outside, and I get that a lot from his music. On this album, I get just even like the Doom shit, right? I love Doom, but I also find like a lot of the Doom fan base kind of insufferable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I mean, there's a big ass Doom behind us, but that song is so fucking hilarious that it's one of my favorite odes to Doom. Like we were just playing that Open Mike Eagle one that is very like personal. Yes. But this one is just like it's called
Love is Doomed.
Love is Doomed, right? And it's like on some like the beat is so weird. It's kind of like on some like LL Cool J, like cool Harlem kind of fly, is that fly shit. And it's just
and he's like singing off key about not going to a party with his girlfriend.
Yeah, bro. He's even got that kind of roots chorus melody. I'm turning that Red Bull on, you know, like it's like, bro, it's so funny because the song is talking about how his lady at the time wants him to go out to like a Halloween party or some shit. Yeah. But I guess this is around the time that the Red Bull Chairman Mao, MF Doom conversation came out, and it's like, you know, I didn't grow up having access to Doom. Like he was mysterious. Like you see him on like a commercial for like Adult Swim, it's like, oh shit, like he fucking lives and breathes, you know. And it's not a Doom bot. So to hear him kind of drop those jewels and to kind of hear this adoration from Zilla Rocca and Jason Griff on this song, it's like, it's fucking hilarious. He says, it's hard for me to be extrovert, especially when I feel pressurized on purpose. I think about your feelings and weigh them out. Then I think about Doom on the couch with Chairman Mao. Bro, I don't want to go to the party with you. I want to watch that Red Bull lecture with Doom. Oh, girl, I care about you, but he might drop them jewels. It's fucking great. And I kind of think that song, in a way, is kind of a Rosetta Stone about this album. It's like he got a lot of love and adoration for everything in his past, but he's not here to kind of like make you feel sad about it. He's here to be like everything, like the way that this album starts off with Oscar Wilde for the Night, which is with Shrapnel, Prim Rock, and Curly Castro. And it starts with Scorsese speaking. That's who that was. I didn't know who it was at first, but it's Scorsese speaking. And it's just a tremendously hard opener of an album. It's like, I don't want to hear this on headphones in Tokyo. I want to hear this on a system. It's not like super heavy 808s, but it's some real, like, I don't want to call it 90s shit or like even early odd shit, but it's like some play this aloud. You know, it's headphone shit too, but play this aloud, and they just come out fucking swinging. The moon landing was real. It was filmed by Jordan Peele. Yeah, it's fucking, and the refrain at the end that they use, stacking chips on record, crushing every single enemy. That shit is hard. The whole album's like, even Don't Panic, the next track, number 2,
with Def C,
which is like a posse cut, but they're not like a posse, but they're all like homies, I suppose. I wasn't really familiar with Zero Star, but Ace Cannons, bro, Zilla Rocca starts off with, yo, hacky sack liberal college rap, we don't fuck with that. I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it. I could have that on a shirt. Solar's like surfing hill kicks on water like surf ninjas, and the shit is just hard as fuck, and it kind of reminds me of that golden age of, you know, posse cut songs where you kind of put like the dopest one at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Busta's going to be at the end, even though Big Daddy Kane's on this shit. Like, it kind of reminds me of that, because fucking like Busta or Capadonna, you know, which it might not be the thing, and it might just be me liking Ace Cannons more. Ace Cannons had an album last year called Mighty Cannons with a producer named Mighty Healthy, and that shit is crazy. That shit is super dope. Gotham on that is crazy, and this full Ace Cannons is a fucking problem. On that fucking beat, he's just like, I was like, damn, this fool is fucking your top 5 in my ashtray. It's incredibly dope. I was really excited to talk about this album because, number one, we hadn't talked about Zilla Rocca before, and I respect him and his art and what he's doing. But this album's really fucking good. Like it's like a mixtape, but it's also like a full cohesive project. It feels, it's weird to describe it.
Like the shortness and the density of features on here. There's like 8 different MCs on this thing. And the tracks are all like relatively short. They're all run like 2-3 minutes. And the cohesion is there, but there is a lot going on this record. Like a lot, you're being hit with a lot of ideas. Yeah. The
different sounds.
Different sounds. There's the overarching themes that you see. You know, this reverence for those who have passed away, and a kind of very positive nostalgia, a humor. Looking back on what has come before and everything.
Even some insightful shit, like the Frank Castle song is also. It's not like some mindless fucking liberal dribble. You know what I mean? Like he really goes off. Like you guys don't fucking. The point is not that people that are using the fucking Punisher symbol are idiots. Even though that's the point. The point is like, bruh, did you even read the fucking Punisher? Right. And to me, I rock with that. It's like, yes, I read the Punisher. You know what I mean? A lot of the Punisher. Same decade shit, I guess. But yeah, it's dope, man. Like and I think with the Scorsese, the usage that they have of just his voice on it, and he's not saying like shit that's like, wow, that was deep, bro. Like I really fucking. It's just like some like dope shit. Like he's like, yeah, man, it's profound as shit because he was fucking brilliant, I guess. You know, like, and I like it. Like 9:15. The drums on that are hard. It sounds like it's for the whip. A note to potential car thieves with Sketch 185. Sketch 185's on there, yeah. I was expecting a verse. I was a little bit disappointed in the verse, but his voice is so dope on that. And even the chorus, right? For the older heads, do you know what Viper was? Protected by Viper. Stand back. It used to be a car alarm company, right? Right. And they had commercials, and one of the things was like you get close to the car and be like, "Protected by Viper, stand back." But that's also what what DMX shouted on fucking "Get at Me, Dog." Like he has that line, and using Sketch, who is loud and bombastic with this voice, it's kind of like, let's punctuate that shit a little bit more. It's a really great choice to have, somebody that he rocks with, like, hey, bro, I just need you to do this. And it's just like fucking dope. But the song is also about like him living in Philly, getting his car fucking broken into, bum sleeping in it and shit, getting his car stolen and all the shit. And like, again, it speaks to me because I was breaking into cars. I had to flee Hawaii because I was fucking racking cars. We were gaffling fucking whips and chopping up cars. And I feel sorry he had to go through that with his family, but that was definitely us. Like, and I didn't know some shit. Like, we've been in Japan for 10 years for me. It was 7 for you. I didn't know people was cloning your car. What did it call? The little fob, like, the car fobs. I didn't know you could go to Home Depot and do that. We was breaking windows. But yeah, it's dope, man. I could keep talking. Should I just keep
go
talking?
Go for it.
This is why Frank Castle's is the song that's missing from the streaming services. Yes. And it's just like, it's not the only superhero reference on this. There's even a song called fucking Scott Summers, right? Yeah. But this one is really kind of about Punisher, about the Punisher. It's criticizing the police, American Sniper, and the kind of imperialist, bootlicking, reactionary rhetoric that you hear from a lot of people, and a lot of people that have taken that Punisher skull symbol and appropriated it to mean something that Punisher doesn't stand for at all.
Broader cultural issue of like all of our heroes are just people who are extremely competent at violence, or have some kind of ability that allows them to be even more competent at violence. Right. That has been like absorbed into, especially in America, this, idea of
new
these
myths.
These new myths, right?
Spider-Man really is just a dude who got hella hands. The reason I say Spider-Man and Superman are the only actual superheroes, because these fools be doing community service, bro. They take you got a cat in a tree, I got you. You need the groceries to get across the street, I got you. Batman ain't doing that shit. Punisher not doing that shit either, but I mean, he taking out, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to get into the propaganda of fucking the Marvel universe and shit, but that's just a good track, man. Frisbees with this MC named Milk, who I'm not super familiar with. I heard part of his project. There was a project that came out last year. It's really just like, the beat is really fly. It's a really another dope flip. The shit he talks on it really speaks to me. He's talking about his parents not letting him have like Dre shit. My dad wouldn't let me hang up like Beastie Boys posters and shit when I was with my father when I was like 6. But you just talking frisbees. Like, y'all got the nerve to press up fucking records. You guys are fucking cornballs. I'm ageless. I'm dangerous because my culture is rap. We gracing stages. You the opening act. You shaking like Naaman. Give me the coke with the jack, like Naaman from The Wire. Yeah. And then a Scorsese again. Look over your shoulder. Super dope again. Just art school rap, motherfucker. You never love rap. Zilla Rocca.
Yeah.
That's dope. Scott Summers with Alaska and Jesse the Tree. We just reviewed the Jesse the Tree Sleeping Dogs collab with Andrew that came out earlier this year. Fucking great. Jesse the Tree is incredible. Andrew is also incredible. Andrew's on the next track after that, Barkeep. But yo, I even the song is called Scott Summers. It doesn't really have a lot of like X-Men references. Like I was kind of half expecting X-Men references because of the Punisher song.
Sure.
But I think maybe that's something that they've called Zilla in the past, like Scott Summers. I'm not sure. Red glasses, but it's really dope either way. Jesse and Alaska, but Alaska, I like when he goes on that run. I'm somewhere between Casanova, Frankenstein, and Micah 9. I might could rhyme my life a crime, but why? Because my life is fine. Also, my wife is fine. The Wi-Fi strong is Cyberdyne. Cyrus with the can you dig it sitting on the firing line. Can you dig it? Alaska's fucking ill. Barkeep,
yeah. Like,
Andrew is so real. Yeah, go on.
Relatable content, man. Like, you just when you're taking advice, you've been speaking to so many people. It's like, man, I should be getting paid for this.
Word. Yeah, giving out so much advice, like your barkeep. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it's like that.
When I was a younger man, I really loved Bismarcky. Now I'm older, I want to be Bismarcky. Shout out. In the last song, no question, Long Live Scorsese. I think when I was listening, I didn't kind of realize that I kind of didn't pay attention to the title of the track, and that's why I didn't really know that Scorsese had passed until I I started putting it together. It took me a while, and I'm glad I gave it a better listen, because otherwise I would have been like, this is a good rap album. But I think the sentiment in just like, bro, if I was to pass, rest in peace to Scorsese. I don't know him. I don't know his art, but I know what it is like to have homies that have passed, and family that's passed, and homies that are like family that has passed. And I would hope that if I'm ever in that situation, that my people celebrate me like this. This is just
absolutely.
It's not a sentimental album like that, but something about it just feels powerful to me. And just thinking about the energy that comes with it, and for some reason I just like this Zilla Rocca album more than I usually like his solo work. Yeah, this one is great. It might be it's a great album. This is an album, like I put favorite tracks. I got like 8 favorite tracks on this shit.
I'll give you mine then.
Yeah.
Probably Don't Panic, Frisbees, maybe Barkeep.
Okay. I got Oscar Wilde for the Night. Fucking love that. How hard. Doom is Love is Doom. Don't Panic. Frank Castle. Belly. Scott Summers. Barkeep. No question. I like pretty much.
I like the 12
pretty
songs.
Much,
yeah.
I like pretty much all of them, man. I really recommend this to cats who are like. I feel like this will resonate well for cats who are like radio heads for hip hop. That they weren't necessarily like outside trying to rhyme, trying to write graffiti, but they like hip hop because they listen to the radio. And I feel like it's and maybe those people feel like, those are the cats that say like hip hop is dead.
Yes.
Which is fucking completely insane. Hip hop's been dope ever since. It's never had a bad year. It's always had good fucking artists and dope shit. But if you only listen to the radio, then you're wondering where all the radio artists that were like that you loved in the 90s. And it's not like, it's like, where's the Black Moon? Where's, you know what I mean? Like
what?
Where's all that shit? So those cats that are stuck in their old CDs and don't necessarily have access to the backwoods studio fucking guys. The fans of Method Man's Box in Hand verse, fans of Black Moon, fans of, I think this will go over well with Sean Price fans.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's kind of
sure.
like, it's humorous, it's in your face, it's an everyman fucking giant that's not trying hard to be crazy. He just kind of like, this is him.
This is him. He's got his eccentricities, but also like he gets his raps off.
Yeah, word.
And the rapping is top notch, like across the record, including all the features.
Yeah, my man Tony Avila, a good friend of mine for a long time. He's the colorist and inker that did all the boys' work with Garth Ennis. But Tony, he was a graph writer in the 90s around, like he did an album cover for like Micah 9 and shit back in the day for a mixtape, and he's been around this type of shit. But he's also a cat that is in his adult age. He's been working in the comic industry. He's not at the he's not at the shows like that, and he's not really familiar with a lot of the more contemporary new cats coming out. I think he'll like this shit because he doesn't really rock with like atmosphere. He
right.
And it's not because he thinks atmosphere is like soft, or I'm not saying atmosphere is soft, but for him, he likes a dude that's like, yeah, I grew up in a place where we'll punch you in the fucking face. Right. And Zilla Rocca's music is very much like, bro, I'm outside, like I'm not trying to say I'm a tough guy, but I got punched in the face in high school, and it taught me to punch people in the face when they're fucking stupid too. And I recommend it to him, guys like him, or kids that just got their first like beater whip.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This will sound good on the speakers, bro.
Jalopy,
In that fucking 1984 Chevy Cavalier. Yeah. Well, I guess it'd be, damn, that was my first car, but I guess it would be like a 2004 Dodge Stratus. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Ford Taurus.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Get your fucking, like, music for a Celica. I think they say that shit. But, yeah. Who would you recommend this to?
Fuck, man. You've cut a lot of ground on this one. I would recommend this to graph writers. I recommend this to people who are on some foolishness.
Shut the foolishness.
Where it's like, the people who have really, really meaningful friendships, in spite of like being on some dumb shit.
Word.
Like if you got some friends who, like if you've ever run from the police with your friends, it's a nice friendship to have sometimes.
It's funny to think about like the shit we were doing back in the day, like the biggest shit. Like people be looking at me like I'm crazy because I threw my backpack at some cops here, which is wild as fuck. But you know what I mean? Like back in the day, it was like, yeah, fuck you guys. I support Zilla Rocca and Jason Griff. This is actually a surprise fucking phenomenal album of the year. I think this will be fighting for contention in my the top half of my favorite albums of the year, maybe between like 7 and 15. It's a really good album, and the more I listen to it, the more it grows onto me. And when I really think about it, I kind of feel like, hell yeah, man, Scorsese forever. Yeah, Doom forever. I got emotional because this beat, man.
This beat is,
Open Mike Eagle fucking makes me feel like I've only gotten emotional about like 2 rappers passing away, I think, in my life. ODB and Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, and Prodigy too. I mean, come on, it's everybody. But yeah, Secret House Against the World, Secret House Against Review, Secret House Against all of you. Like, subscribe, consider the Patreon. Here comes a list of all the Patreons that are supporting us right now.
Wow, they look so handsome up there. Beautiful people.
Bro, you called me out on my Japanese adult video fucking Instagram shit. I was like, he knows. He fucking knows.
Which one? What did I do? I don't remember.
No. It's like you put some Japanese, like, oh, Japanese.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
okay.
like,
No.
I was like,
I
get it.
It
was that.
You know what it said, though?
My Japanese is fucking trash, but I translated it.
It said werewolf sex workers.
The translation said like man sex workers or something. And I was like, he knows. It's like, it was supposed to be a secret.
I didn't know. I just went with the werewolf sex workers.
See, this is why I need to get my Japanese. I can't read it. You have some kanji in there and shit, yeah?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it was literally just like okami otoko, like wolf man.
Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, that was from there. Check out our Instagram.
Workers. Yeah. Shouts out to all the sex workers and werewolves.
You know what's good about that is I could just put the little Patreon thing right over this last ending conversation. Yeah. Easy.